And now, the live Mega Millions drawing here on WTEN.
Across America with Mega Jackpots, it's Mega Millions.
Good evening, I'm Carol Blackman. It's Friday, January 3rd, and tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is an estimated annuitized $15 million. To win the jackpot, all you have to do is match all 5 white balls plus the Mega Ball. The first number tonight is 14, and that's followed by 28. Up next is 37. And then we have 46. And that's followed by 6. And the Mega Ball number is 3. Your winning numbers again are 14, 28, 37, 46, 6, and the Mega Ball is 3. Now, if no one matches all 6 numbers, Tuesday's jackpot could be $22 million. Good luck.
From WTEN Albany, the news team that's leading the way in local news coverage, on air and online. This is a News 10 special edition.
It's a true nor'easter. You're looking at a live picture of the snowstorm that could leave more than 2 feet of the white stuff. Good evening. I'm Elisa Streeter. Terry has the night off. It's been coming down all day and will continue throughout the night. Snow totals could be more than 2 feet in some areas before all is said and done. For the very latest, let's check in with Steve Caporizzo. Steve.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. Actually, this was a good news, bad news situation with this particular storm. The good news is, for the DPW crews, the road crews out tonight, it came in bursts of snow. It wasn't like Christmas night when we had that whiteout with tremendous snow. It came in stages tonight, so they were able to keep up with the snowfall. Let's check out the News 10 storm tracker. And again, we have bands. Here's one distinct band now moving through Albany, as we saw in that live shot, right up the Hudson Valley. This is now rotating off to the northwest and west, and there's actually more where that came from. So there'll be bands of moderate to heavy snow showers and periods of heavier snow that will last for about a half hour to 45 minutes, and then it will let up, and then it will pick back up again. Here's another area of heavier snow in Dutchess County. This moving north and northwest will clip Columbia and Greene counties over the next half hour to 45 minutes. Let's give you a breakdown on the remainder of this storm. We may not get to 2 feet of snow in Albany, but we're probably going to be in that 16 to 18-inch range. Still bands of heavy snow. When these bands come through, 1 to 3 inches per hour. The heaviest bands have been to the west of Albany, but now they're getting closer to us as we speak. And the whole thing winds down by tomorrow morning. So by midday tomorrow, from now till noon tomorrow, an additional 4 to 8 inches of snow on top of what you have at this point. That would mean most areas between 14 and 22 inches, and I'll show you a little bit later on, some places will get well over 2 feet of snow. The complete forecast on this second major winter storm in about a week and a half, a little bit later in the newscast. Elisa, back to you.
All right, thank you, Steve. Well, one of the tasks we will all have in the morning, and some of us tonight, will be digging out our cars. Numerous cities and towns have declared snow emergencies, so keep an eye on the bottom of the screen for those details. Travel has been treacherous, to say the least, since the snow started. Our crews have been out in the thick of it all day. John Craig is live at the Albany International Airport with our continuing coverage. John.
Yeah, Lisa, the roads are treacherous. People have been trying to brave them all evening long, although some people were able to get out of work early and try to make it home, and they found trouble if they were trying to follow the Northway and if they were coming to the airport. You name it, this is a night they'd like to forget. Two guys, a shovel, and a snowplow. That's the order of the night. Peter Fallon of Loudonville just found out his AAA lapsed. Not good news when your car looks like this, up in a snowbank. He got some help from a passerby.
I was turning, so to avoid hitting me, he cut him off, and he ended up in a snowbank.
It turned out okay. Nobody got hurt. He kept going, though.
Yeah, he didn't offer to help.
He didn't offer to help. He went.
It's been this way all around the roads, much more severe on the Northway. This tractor-trailer jackknife closing all 3 southbound lanes between exits 7 and 6 during rush hour. That caused residual accidents and whopping delays. What has this last week been like for you?
You don't want me to say that.
I like the snow myself. You know, I'm an all-weather man anyway, so don't bother me, you know. But it is bad for people. I've seen a lot of accidents.
At the airport, caution and stop. The caution of the yellow lights everywhere on the tarmac. Runway 1 shut down to clear for about an hour. The red means outright canceled, and some cots set up for those that had to spend the night.
We have about 30 pieces of equipment, everything from 40-foot wide snow plows, snow blowers that can do the average driveway in 2 to 3 seconds.
So what do you do with so much mess all around? Do what 2-year-old Madison Hugerich does. Catch snowflakes on your tongue.
The weather's awful. It's treacherous. Was it slippery, babe?
Yeah.
Yes, very slippery, and maybe one of the better spots tonight here is at the airport. The roads around here continue to be passed by and plowed with some of that equipment that they were talking about. No major accidents to report in and around the region. Again, we had a lot of warning from Steve Caporizzo that this was coming, and people were able to plan ahead and plan accordingly as they made their way about and around. But this will continue. The official snow total, somebody just came out and checked it. We're up to a foot here at the airport and counting. Now with continuing team coverage of this snowstorm, let's head over to Schenectady where they've had their share of woes and join Dan Levy.
Indeed they have, John. You know, if anything's piling up faster and higher than the snow here in the city of Schenectady, it's probably the criticism of the way the city handled snow removal after last week's snowstorm. Tonight, Mayor Al Jasinski was determined not to allow the snow or the criticism to pile up any more than it has to.
As the mayor, you know, this is where I'm supposed to be.
In an oversized SUV, Mayor Al Jasinski rides shotgun as he and Schenectady's Corporation Counsel Michael Brockbank ride through the city streets, making sure there's no deja vu of the debacle that occurred after the Christmas Day snowstorm 10 days ago when it took several days to clean the city streets.
People get frustrated during a storm, and that's okay.
To avoid further frustration, the mayor made public his personal cell phone number, and if they had a complaint, they called.
We're over in Mount Pleasant right now. We'll work our way over there, and I'll check it out.
The mayor checked out several neighborhoods, and he eased the mind of several neighbors.
I want this plowed because it didn't get plowed the last time.
Absolutely.
And you know, nobody could park here.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody...
Well, I'm certain that if not tonight, then sometime tomorrow, the police are going to be coming around pulling them out.
Okay.
So.
In general, the mayor liked what he saw, and apparently for good reason.
Last week, this was one of the tougher streets, Michigan Avenue.
The roads were plowed and passable, but also the phone calls kept coming.
Keep them on the even side. That's what the law.
Satisfied with the streets, the mayor checked out the city's public works garage, where machinery seems to be holding up, although the few that were breaking down were being repaired. Then it was back out to the streets to resume the plowing patrol. That was then, this is now. Since that report, the snow has continued to fall, it has intensified, and the plows continue to do their job. Keep in mind, they have 180 miles of roadway to plow here in Schenectady, but if you take into account all of the lanes, it's more like 400 miles of road that needs to be plowed. In addition to that, while the snow continues to pile up, so does the expense. Each day that there's a snow emergency in this city, it costs $20,000. So, Elisa, there are many things piling up all at once in the Electric City. Live in Schenectady, Dan Levy, News 10.
All right, thank you, Dan. And the Albany Fire Department is asking for your help. They want residents to help clear snow from fire hydrants in front of their homes. I'm sure that's the same case in Schenectady. There are more than 3,600 fire hydrants in Albany. So if you can give them a hand in the morning, the firefighters would really appreciate it. People who are unable to shovel out the hydrants are asked to call the fire dispatcher at 438-4000. Well, we plan to stay on top of the storm all night, and because of the weather, we will bring you a special weekend edition of News 10 in the morning. Be sure to join us at 6 a.m. when we'll bring you the latest as the snow continues to fall. We'll have live updates from throughout the Capital District, including Schenectady, and we'll be talking to local officials on the phone as they battle the weather. We'll be joined by both Steve Caporizzo, who will be taking calls from you around 6:15 a.m., and Andrew Gregorio, who will be live from Queensbury. That's a special edition of News 10 in the morning from 6 to 8 a.m. You don't want to miss that. Coming up now, Steve will have his full forecast with more on the storm and the snow totals. And convicted of kidnapping and murdering a little girl, David Westerfield learns whether he'll live or die.
Elisa Streeter, Terry McSweeney, Chief Meteorologist Steve Caporizzo, and Dan Murphy with sports. You're watching a special edition of News 10.
Steve joins us now. He's not even going to bother to sleep tonight because there's just too much to do.
Might as well. I got to get up at 5 in the morning.
That's right, and it's already 1. So.
You know, the thing about this storm, it's been a little bit strange in its behavior. Sometimes you look out. We were talking about this tonight. I mean, it was almost like a blizzard out there for a half hour, 45 minutes. Then it would stop.
And it cleared.
And then it would pick up again. But, you know, this was actually a blessing for the DPWs because you could keep up with the snow as opposed to Christmas night when it all came down all at once. This was spread over a long duration. So a little bit of a different beast, this storm, as opposed to what we had Christmas Day. Let's check out some of the snowfall accumulations. Thanks to all the weather spotters and all of you who sent me emails keeping me updated on things. Gloversville, 15.5. About a foot of snow. Clifton Park, Albany, Skodak, 11 inches. Cooksaki, a foot. Hudson, Catskill, 10 to 11 inches. Terringham in the southern Berkshires, 13. 15 at Dalton. Wilmington, Vermont, 14. Notice to the west, out in Montgomery County again, Route 18, and out in Otsego County, Cherry Valley had 20 inches of snow, and they picked up additional accumulations. Selkirk at 15. Malta, 12, about 7 or 8 up at Glens Falls, but you've been getting some heavier snow. Amsterdam, 16, Richmondville, 20, and off to the south, Red Hook, 10, Chatham, a foot, Beckett in the Berkshires, 14, and Adams in the northern Berkshires had 13 inches of snow. Kind of interesting. Take a look at this statistic. Last winter, for the entire winter season, we had 47.4 inches of snow. So far, and we're still counting, this year, this winter season, 58 inches of snow. We have a good 3 months to go with this stormy weather. Hopefully we'll see a little bit of a change in the weather pattern. Let's check out News 10 Storm Tracker, and we have a band of moderate to heavy snow again setting up across Washington County, Saratoga County, much of Albany County, right along the Hudson River into Dutchess County. This band right here is not moving a great deal. It is drifting off to the northwest. So again, areas closest to the Hudson River and right around Albany, Saratoga, and Hudson will pick up a pretty good burst, maybe another 1 to 2 inches in this one band of heavy snow. And there'll be other bands rotating around between now and about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Temperatures in the mid to upper 20s, they have not budged a great deal. Primarily, this was a snow event for all areas except near the coast. By the way, some of you may be going to the Jets game, the playoff game tomorrow. They had mostly rain. In fact, all rain down at New York City. But again, the roads as you head down the thruway towards New York City are snow-covered and icy. Take a look at this satellite loop. Watch right in here, this twist. This is actually the upper level support to the storm system off the coast. When this goes by tonight, it will likely enhance the snow for a few hours and give us a pretty good burst of snow. But this storm will be exiting south of Cape Cod tomorrow morning, taking this band of moderate to heavy snow off to the east and northeast. Notice on the Storm Tracker Doppler radar, you can actually see that spinning motion and how the white is getting brighter and whiter down through the Catskills. So this is the upper level low, and until this passes by, we're going to be in the threat of bands of heavy snow. Accumulations, this is the way it's going to stack up in most locales. Looks like on average 14 to 22. High spots to the west, 18 to 30 inches. Same will hold true for southern Vermont and the northern Berkshires. Lesser amounts from Glens Falls north, 7 to 14 inches of snow. And for tomorrow, say goodbye to the storm. It's not going to clear out a lot, but it should be an improving afternoon with just some lingering snow flurries. All right, forecast. Be careful tonight. Periods of heavier snow. Again, it's not going to be steady, off and on, 23 to 28. And for tomorrow, heavy snow showers or bands of snow end during the morning. Some light snow in the afternoon, 25 to 30. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night, teens to near 20. Sunday, a little bit of sun, then clouding up. Late day snow showers, 25 to 30. Vermont and the Berkshires, periods of heavier snow, 23 to 28. And for tomorrow, the snow winds down. Just some lighter snow and flurries by afternoon. Highs 24 to 29. And your 5-day forecast, a little light snow Monday night. Should end Tuesday, and a shot of cold air coming in for Wednesday, mid-20s with snow showers and a few flurries Thursday, and 32 degrees. So it does get better for us. Be patient.
All right. Thanks a lot, Steve. Well, coming up, the sentencing of David Westerfield, and President Bush speaks to troops as they prepare for possible war in the Persian Gulf.
The News 10 Storm Tracker Ski Report is sponsored by Gore Mountain.
Police in Latham are investigating a shooting tonight in which at least one person was injured. Police say it happened behind a Price Chopper on Route 9, and they are looking for a white truck that may have been involved. Well, the man who killed a 7-year-old San Diego girl is sentenced to die for his crime. David Westerfield was convicted last August for the murder of Danielle Van Dam. Today he found out he will pay the ultimate price for that crime. Carla Wohl has more.
Thank you. All right.
There was no apology, no comment from David Westerfield. He sat without expression as the judge announced he would follow the jury's recommendation and impose the ultimate penalty.
That you shall be put to death within the walls of the California State Prison at San Quentin in the manner prescribed by law.
The 50-year-old engineer was convicted of kidnapping his neighbor, 7-year-old Danielle Van Dam, from her bedroom last February and then murdering her. Westerfield's attorney made a final plea to spare his client's life, arguing that politics had motivated the prosecution to seek the death penalty.
I ask you, take the high road. I ask you, don't acquiesce to the heartless killing of another. I ask you, don't be swayed by the lynch mob mentality we've seen.
Then it was Danielle's parents' turn. With tears streaming down their face, they talked about how her death had left a hole in their hearts. Brenda Van Dam directly addressed Westerfield, calling him a monster.
I ask you, why did you not let her go? Why didn't you drop her off in a safe place? If you had done so, she would be with her family now, and you would not be facing death. What were you thinking?
Under state law, Westerfield's death sentence automatically will be appealed to the California Supreme Court. If it is upheld, he will die by lethal injection. Carla Wohl, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Soldiers at the nation's largest military post got a visit from the commander-in-chief. President Bush made the short trip from his Texas ranch to Fort Hood this morning. The first order of business, a review of the troops and a speech. In the speech, he warned Saddam Hussein that he will call on the 4,000 men and women there to attack Iraq if he has to. Fort Hood is home to the 1st Cavalry Division and would likely send all 4,000 to the Persian Gulf if there's action against Iraq. The River Rats played through the storm, but could they weather the storm of the AHL's best team? Murph will have the answer when we come back, and we'll see if the Engineers could end their recent skid.
Tonight's lottery drawing is sponsored by your Upstate Ford dealers.
Good evening, I'm Kevin Logie. Welcome to Friday, January 3rd, Take 5 drawing, being observed by an auditor from KPMG. Tonight's winning Take 5 numbers are 3, 6, 20, 30, and 15. Congratulations to all you winners. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
And now Dan Murphy joins us with sports.
Yeah, it wasn't a great night if you wanted to see sports around the area, though there were a couple of games. Good night to stay inside and watch the football game.
Great
turned
game.
out to be pretty good, considering how his team has played thus far this season. RPI coach Dan Friedgen couldn't wait for the new year to get here. The Engineers opening the 2003 portion of their 02-03 season tonight against non-conference foe Minnesota Duluth. Brave souls on hand, saw a pretty good game. RPI up 1-0 in the first. Junior Lesser to Minnesota Duluth tying the game. Short time later, though, Nolan Graham with the intercept and the goal. Engineers take a 2-1 lead. They go on to the 5-2 win, snapping their 3-game losing streak. Rematch tomorrow night right back in Troy. Albany River Rats also playing through the storm tonight. The AHL's best team, the Hamilton Bulldogs, the opponent. Both goalies were sharp in this one. Hamilton's Matthew Garon stoning Scott Cameron from in close. The Rats' Area Honan was outstanding as well. Point-blank save right there. He had 36 saves on the night, but a late Hamilton goal did him and his teammates in. Rats lose the game 3-2. Big Rats at home against Toronto, and the Devils carrying the play. However, Toronto goalie Eddie Belfour up to the challenge early on. Jersey, though, breaks the scoreless tie. Yuri Bisic with the goal off the back pass. Devils win 2-0. Corey Schwab in goal for the Devils gets the shutout victory. To the east, the Islanders and Bruins going at it on the island, and at least one of these teams came to play. Mark Parrish giving the Islanders an early 2-0 lead, and later in the first, it's 2-1. Parrish on the power play, his 15th goal of the season. Islanders led 4-2 after 1. Late in the second, Parrish will complete the hat trick, 4th of his career. Islanders roll past the Bruins 8-4. Isles over the 500 mark for the first time this season. There are the hats. Buffalo doubles Carolina. One other notable game in the NHL tonight. College hoop news. Siena center Leanne Jansoni has been named the MAC Women's Player of the Week. Jansoni averaged 15 points, 12.5 rebounds, and leading the Lady Saints to the championship of the St. Joe's tournament. And Lefty Drizel, the only coach to win at least 100 games at 4 different schools, retired today at 71 years of age. Drizel said he was simply too tired to continue. Busy night in the NBA. We begin at the Garden. The Knicks and the Pacers, all Indy for most of this one. In fact, the Knicks trailed by 17 at one point, but they come to life in the fourth quarter. Down 1. Charlie Ward misses. Anderson misses the follow, and another, but Ward there to tip it in to give the Knicks the lead. Pacers, though, with the final possession. Brad Miller from straight away, no good. Knicks hold on for the 98-96 win. They have their first 3-game winning streak of the season. The New Jersey Nets, winners of 7 straight, taking on the Heat, who had won 3 in a row. The Nets brought their A game. Kenyon Martin with authority there, 2 of his 10. Jason Kidd, 13 assists, including that beauty to Richard Jefferson. He led New Jersey with 26. Nets cruised to the 20-point victory. How about the Celtics, you ask? Well, they played host to Portland. Scottie Pippen had a big game, 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 steals. Blazers led for most of the game, but midway through the fourth, Shammond Williams with the 3. Celtics up 1. However, Portland regains control down the stretch. Rasheed Wallace with the killer 3. Celtics fall 108 to 103. Hall of Fame football coach Sid Gilman has died. Gilman, one of the game's offensive masterminds, credited with designing what has become now the West Coast offense. Sid Gilman dead at the age of 91. College football season finally come to an end. Miami and Ohio State national championship game. You just saw it. Miami had won 34 in a row. Defending champs on the board first. Ken Dorsey to Roscoe Parrish, 7-0 Canes, but Ohio State carried the play for most of the game. Maurice Claret's TD run giving the Buckeyes a 14-7 lead. They led by 3 with 3 seconds to go in regulation. Matt Sievers nails the 40-yard field goal to send the game into overtime. Both teams scored TDs in the first OT. Ohio State aided by a phantom pass interference call. Claret then gives the Buckeyes the lead in the second overtime with that touchdown. Final chance for Miami is incomplete. Ohio State wins the Fiesta Bowl 31-24. They win the national championship in the process. National Football League wild card weekend gets underway in about, an hour and a half or so, it seems. I'll have my picks coming up.
All right, and we'll be back with more news in a moment. Now let's get a recap on our top story, the snowstorm, of course. John Craig standing by live at Albany International Airport. John.
Elisa, much like this football game that we had before tonight that went to double overtime, well, the snow is going overtime and overtime and overtime. It has been nonstop. As you can see, it coming down a little heavier now in front of me. Earlier tonight at the airport, the lights, it's really piled up. As you can see, the lights flashing on some of the equipment. More than 30 pieces of equipment here at the airport. And in some snow piles in the far sections of the airport, 40 feet high as they try to pound it and move it and get it out of the way so they can keep the airport running, although we're told that won't happen fully operational again until about 3 tomorrow afternoon. And the roadways, as I just talked to a sheriff's deputy who was out patrolling the roads, saying there are some people still out there, but he's seen a lot of plows and a lot of private plows out there trying to keep the roads as clean as possible. And this guy's doing too. So that's what we have so far here in Colony. Elisa, back to you.
All right, John, thanks so much. Well, when we come back, Steve will be back with a look at what we can expect tomorrow from the storm. Plus, Dan has his wild card predictions. Let's head over to Steve at the weather wall. Steve.
All right, Elisa, thank you very much. And what we're doing here is going to recap the Storm Tracker Doppler radar. I want you to notice this little spinning motion over the Catskills. What you see here, just to the southeast of Binghamton, a little spin. That's the upper level low. That's the energy to the storm, and when that passes over, this will tend to aggravate things and give us another few hours of moderate to heavy bands of snow. Then once that goes by, things will begin to improve. So we're going to get another at least 4 or 5, maybe 6 inches of snow on top of what we have, which is averaging around 12 to 14 inches, depending upon where you live. A little bit less to the north, but 14 to 22. Up from Glens Falls north, a little bit less, 7 to 14. But notice that blue shaded area High elevations of Fulton County, Montgomery County, parts of Schoharie and Otsego counties, 18 to 30, and 18 to 30 inches of snow for the central and northern Berkshires and the southern Greens. Some places in Otsego County already have had 2 feet of snow.
And if you're heading to the Jet game tomorrow, leave now.
Yeah, take your but you know what's good? The Jets down at the Giant Stadium, they had
just rain.
Just rain, but it's getting there because the suburbs in New York City had about 8-10 inches of snow.
Well, I think Jet fans are going to be happy tomorrow. Here are my wild card predictions as I finally get back to something I actually know about and get away from these college football picks. Go with the Jets tomorrow, laying 6 against the Colts. Indy will not play well in this game in these conditions. I do like the Falcons, a little shaky, getting 6.5 against Green Bay. We have both of those games for you right here tomorrow night. I'll take the Steelers laying 7.5 against the Browns, and I like the Giants getting the points, but I think they will not win the game, but I think it'll be a 2 or 3 point game. 3.5, too many points to lay in that situation.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Nightline is next. Don't forget to join everybody here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for the latest on that storm. We hope you have a nice, safe weekend.